Hi, everyone. So I just want to go ahead and take a few minutes to introduce you to the online resources that you have available for this class. I use a lot of technology, so I want to make sure you're comfortable with everything that we have at our disposal. So the main things that I have are Google Classroom and then also the Online Learning Hub. So I want to focus on those two things right now. So Google Classroom, you've probably used it before with your other classes. Like usual, when you log on, and then the first thing you will see is the stream page. So I try and keep the stream pretty simple. I list announcements here and kind of big things to remember changes to dates, reminders about upcoming tests, things like that. But I do not list assignments on the stream. So if you're ever looking for handouts or things like that, you actually want to go to the classwork tab, which is at the top, and you're going to go ahead and click on that. And this is where you're going to be taken to. So this is one of the main places you can go to kind of get started with things. The general class information, I have three main things up here. So the first one is a class frequently asked questions. So this is if you have any general questions about class, kind of apply to the entire year. So maybe it's things like, when should I come in for help? Or what's the strategy for doing this, or things like that. Kind of those more general questions. Did you see I actually had someone ask a question already? So someone asking, can I come in to study? And you're going to be able to see your classmate questions. So make sure you're keeping this very generic. Don't ask about grades or things like that. And then I actually did go ahead and reply, since it's still summer, not coming in for school class time yet. But that's something you can use as a resource, just kind of get general information, especially if it's sometime outside of class, like on the weekends or something like that, and you have a pressing question. Also, I have important class papers listed here. So your syllabus, your lab safety contract, if there's anything else that I want you to reference throughout the year, I'm going to have it up here for you to look at. You can download it. You can print out extra copies if you need. The other thing I have listed on general class information is something that most of you will never need, which is my behavior reflection form. This is in case someone does something that violates our class rules. It's a chance for them to kind of rethink about what they did, hopefully acknowledge how that impacts others, and then make corrections so that doesn't happen again and we don't have continuing issues. So most of you will never use the behavior reflection form. The only time you would need to fill it out is if you and I have a little conversation and I specifically ask you to do that. So the other thing that you want to look for is then whatever unit we're on. So we're going to get started with unit 0. And you see here I have listed both the title number and then the title of the unit. And then I have the public progress tracker. So this is something that you can update yourself. Everyone sees this, but just update your own line. And this is not about grades at all. It's just about where are you currently, so you can find classmates who are working on the same thing. You also have the option to list yourself as an expert. This is if you're really confident on a particular lesson and you feel like you would be a good person to ask any questions that someone has, that you can really serve as an expert or as a helper to your classmates if they need help with a lesson you've already completed. The next thing is going to be the lesson links. So this is where you're going to go most days, taking you to that online learning hub that I talked about, and we'll talk more about that in a few seconds. Otherwise, I have a specific Unit 0 frequently asked questions. So if you have questions about Unit 0 in particular, like what is Miss Powell talking about in this video, or where do I find this station? That's where you can ask those more specific questions to Unit 0. The ones that are labeled with my numbering system, the 0.1a, those tie into particular lessons, so they all match up. And then you'll see at the end of your unit, you actually have a survey. So this is a chance for you to reflect upon how you're doing, maybe make some changes, or maybe you're doing really awesome and you just want to keep doing what you're doing. This is also a chance for you to give me some feedback so that I can make this work better for everyone. So let's go ahead and dive into the other part of our online existence, which is the Online Learning Hub. Okay, so the Online Learning Hub, this is where I'm going to post the vast majority of your resources for school. All of your handouts will get posted here, your videos, instructions about what to do for every single part of the lesson. That's all online. If you're trying to download something, you ever have issues downloading it, make sure you're logged into your school account. I do have that tied to the Miamisburg system, so make sure you're logged into that if you're having trouble. Otherwise, you see the title of the unit that you're on at the top. Up in this upper right-hand corner, I do have different drop-down menus for the different units. So if we get partway through the year and you need to come back to a previous unit, that's an easy way to navigate. Otherwise, you see that I have the lesson links for each part of the lesson. So this is the first lesson, the second lesson, and then the third lesson. And if you scroll down some more, I have your Unit 0 guide. This I have provided printed copies for all of you. And then I also have the Unit 0 notes. So if you ever misplace your notes, if you want just a digital copy, this is a great place to go to get those. But otherwise, if we go ahead, scroll back up to the top, we see that we have those lesson links. If we click on that, it is going to then take us to the first lesson. How my lessons are laid out, you're going to see the lesson objective at the top. That is the goal that we want you to be able to reach. And then you basically follow down in order. So we have the lesson opener. I also have some reminders at the beginning about where to write down things. And then I have the next activity, which you're going to do a scavenger hunt. Then we have some videos and some practice activities. So you basically just follow down the list. You can also check these off on your unit guide just to make sure that you're getting everything done, because it will match up. And then you'll see reminders like what to do for your knowledge check. If you ever want to quickly navigate from one spot to the next, I do have these green buttons at the bottom. So you can either return to the home page, that's where we just were, or if you're ready to move on to the next lesson, that's what's actually in that green button there. So I hope this helps with navigating our online system. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Bye, everyone.